to start with the first point. As you can see here is a step-by-step configuration guide how you can actually use the switch. The first point is to add your termination provider. So in order to add the termination provider, you just click on the termination provider. So for the moment there is no termination provider available. We will going to now add a new termination provider. To add a new termination provider, click on add new termination provider, enter a provider name. We add it as a test provider. Test provider, and then you can add an IP address. So or the host name you can also add. Okay, if the provider uses a standard port, then you just keep this field blank. If the provider uses another port apart from the standard port, which is 5060, then you put the new port here. Okay, in that case my provider uses a standard port, so I keep this field blank and you add the termination provider. It will ask you just for the surety that you have provided all the entries properly, and after you provide the entries properly, click on OK, and the new provider is added. So after you added the new provider, if your provider provides different prefixes, then you also have to add those prefixes into your switch. Say for example, I know in that case my provider uses, for example, 2 different prefixes, so I use the first prefix. That prefix is added, and my provider uses another prefix, can also use another prefix that I can also add. So it means I have added a provider, and this provider uses 2 different prefixes. Okay, so in the next video we're going to show you, after we have added the providers, how you can add the provider rates.